So the dome being the centerpiece and the most important piece in the show, not to mention the most important piece I think that I've ever made in my life. It's certainly the most biggest and most ambitious. It has many themes and inspirations. It took over a year and a half to make the glass for it, which basically happened in one stretch. Specifically, the topic I chose was the three-tiered cosmos. And it's basically the idea that we have three planes of existence. The underworld, and that's the wallpaper section on the bottom. Then the middle section, which is the wall panels, which are the flowers, that's the earthly realm. And then the top, which is the heavenly realm, which is the birds. And the birds are spiraling up to the center where they disappear in a spiral. At the nexus of each triangle is a bracket with a hole in it, and inside that is a star motif. If you go into a lot of Gothic cathedrals, at the intersection of the vaults in the ceilings, they have a star there. The wallpaper is based on two of the pieces over here, this piece and this piece. It's really literal. I input high-res JPEGs into Photoshop and spent hours and hours deleting the metal cut lines, so that's called a lead line. Got rid of the lead lines, got rid of the lead lines in that one. So I wanted to make wallpaper, even though it's a little unclear. I think that it's wallpaper, and what makes it wallpaper is I made these into endlessly repeating designs. See, there's little samples in this case. There's two blue pieces in the back of the case. That's blue on clear flash glass. And then there's two samples. There's a star on a hexagon. So those blue pieces of glass, it's easier to imagine them as solid blue. Like if you got the sheet and nothing had been done to it, it would just be a blue piece of glass. It's the same with that star on the hexagon, would just be a red piece of glass. I just got rid of most of the red. I am engraving and sandblasting into the colored layer with tools like dentist drills and diamond files to reveal the clear layer underneath. When I teach this, the students have a hard time understanding what's going on until they actually put their hands on it and do it. This is an endless repeating pattern also. So we could generate bolts of cloth with these gentlemen on it. Because I'm concerned about the environment, I really wanted to do a piece about deforestation. I drew a lot of lumberjacks. I basically, in Photoshop, I get a whole bunch of source material, mostly illustrations, a lot from an Aesop fable about the woodsman and the tree. And then I was mixing and matching their body parts so that they would be original to me, so that when I drew them all later, they would be my drawings. You can't find a source for them, but I did use a lot of source material. I have this urge to make landscapes, which is weird. I don't know if I like landscapes as a mode of painting that much. They're very challenging for me, and I always like a challenge. So I wanted to do, a kick-ass cityscape. It all started with the puffy coat. I really wanted to make it be a night scene because I think the lights at night are interesting to try to render. And of course, she's holding a bag of dog dew, which I just noticed that everybody walking around was walking around with a small bag of poop. And I thought, isn't that like life? We're just all walking around with a small bag of duty. And I thought it was art-worthy. We can talk about these pieces, which I think are really related and relate to the dome, because here you can see the figures that have now been deleted in the dome, where you get to be the figure at the center of the universe. So that's the Google Map pin. I didn't know that when I designed it, right? That piece was done for a year before I looked at it and said, holy crap, it's the Google Map pin. Never gonna unsee that. So basically, by looking at a work of art, you'd be able to I like to use the word echolocate off of it. And obviously, you're not going to find your body in a physical space, but maybe you're going to find your soul in the cosmos instead, which seems like a decent trade-off to me. Creativity works best when it's organic. The thing about a stained glass window is that it is basically never the same window twice.